Cross multiplication gives a lot of students a lot of grief. It can be quite tricky, but it is a pretty good skill to have. It's a pretty nifty skill. It can get you out of a lot of jams. So what we're really talking about cross multiplication is when we have a fraction on one side, the left hand side of the equation there, and another fraction on the right hand side of the equation, and the equal sign in between them. And a hard and fast rule is if A over B equals C over D, then A times D must equal B times C, or if we want to rewrite that in algebraic form, which is the same thing. If we have two letters next to each other, it means that they're multiplied by each other. The sort of side note to that is as long as B and D do not equal 0, because remember, we can't divide by 0. Not now, not ever. Not over my cold dead body can you divide by 0. Okay, so let's do a little proof of that rule. It's not really a proof, but it's sort of, I'll show you how to work it out. Let's take the left hand side over B, and let's multiply that by B over 1. And I'm going to be okay doing this because I'm going to do it to the other side as well. Later on, when we do the rules of algebra, you'll see that we can do anything as long as we do it to both sides of the equation. Okay, well, top times top, bottom times bottom, A over B divided by B. Now, if you remember our cancelling rules, if we have B over B and a number divided by itself, it doesn't disappear, it just becomes 1. So we're left with A over 1, which is A. Okay, so far so good. Now I want to take the other side of that equation. Remember, it's A over B equals C over D, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing to that one. I'm going to multiply this by B over 1 as well. Okay, B times C, C times B. I'm going to put them in alphabetical order. Remember, the order doesn't matter in multiplication. D times 1 is D. So I've multiplied both sides by B over 1. Okay, and we get that on the right hand side, and we get that on the left hand side. So A must equal BC over D, and that's handy in and of itself. If we wanted to solve for A, we know what that's going to be now. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this little equation that we've just developed, and I'm going to multiply both sides by D over 1. Which is D. Okay, the left hand side is pretty easy. A times D over 1 is A times D, which is AD. The right hand side, BC over D times D over 1, well, is BC times D over D. The D's are going to cancel. The D doesn't disappear here, it just becomes a 1. and BC times 1 is 1. So this equals BC over 1, which is BC. So now we want to combine them. AD must equal BC. Okay, if you want to go back and have a look at how I did that again, feel free to do that. I'll quickly do it again. So we had A over B, we multiplied that by B over 1, and we got A. We had C over D, we multiplied that by B over 1, and we got BC over D. Then I multiplied both sides of this by D, and A times D is AD. BC over D times D is BC. So AD equals BC. It's a neat little trick to have. Let's put in some numbers. Really easy numbers. Let's say 1 over 2 equals 2 over 4. We know that that's true. 1 divided by 2 is half. 2 divided by 4 is also a half if we simplify it. Let's do exactly the same thing. So I want to take this left hand side and I want to multiply that by 2 over 1, and we're left with 2 over 2, which is 1. Now I want to take this right hand side and I want to multiply that by 2 over 1, and we're left with 4 over 4, which is also 1. So we're left with the answer 1 equals 1. Is that true? Well, yeah, that is true. It's very true. Okay, so far, so good. So what are the rules for cross multiplication? The other rule that we can have is that if we want to sort of put it in that form, is we can cross multiply either bottom to the top of the other equal sign, or that way, or we can go the other way across the equal sign, and the other way across the equal sign, as long as we replace with a 1. So what does that mean? So let's go back to our A, B, C and D rules. A over B equals C over D. Say we want to bring this D over to the left hand side. We can multiply that, the bottom of one times the top of the other, and then we replace the D there with a 1. So A times D, the B stays where it is, equals C, and the D now becomes a 1. This will become important a little bit later on, and we're left with AD over B equals C. Okay. Let's say now we start with our A, B, C and D, and now we want to, for whatever reason, move this A to the right hand side. Well, the A is there, it's going to go from the top of one to the bottom of the other and be replaced by a 1. So that's going to give us 1 over b equals, the c stays there, a times d. And while we're at it, let's have a look at the next kind of rule we have. If a over b, remember where a, b, c and d are just any numbers, equals c over d, then the reciprocal is also true. B over a must equal d over c. We take the left hand side and we flip it. We take the right hand side and we flip it. But there's a little rule here, remember, as long as a or c do not equal 0. We can't do that. Another really simple example. Let's say we have, again, 1 over 2 equals 2 over 4. If this is true, we know that that is true. Then does 2 over 1 equal 4 over 2? Well, 2 divided by 1 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. So our example works. This is really, really handy to have, especially when we're solving algebraic equations. It's a skill that will really, really behoove you to know. This is a kind of a premonition of what's coming up. Let's say we have x. Okay. In fact, let's change that b. Let's change that to 10. So I'm gonna ask you to solve for x. In other words, I want x equals some number. So I want this x on the left hand side all by itself. What do I do? Well, this 10 here, we want to get rid of it. We want to bring it from the bottom here over to the right hand side. So I'm going to cross multiply it. So x over 1, remember the 10 doesn't just disappear, it becomes a 1. But to make up for that, we have to multiply the other side by 10. Okay. And remember, anything over 1 is itself. 40 divided by 3. And that would be our answer. Just to convince you, if we had 40 over 3 divided by 10, does that equal 4 over 3? And I invite you to grab your calculator and just prove to yourself that that is actually true.